All right, welcome back, Aaron and Brandon, Brandon and Aaron, mental health vlog slash whatever you want to call it vlog. Today, there's a series of articles that we kind of compiled that we thought were very interesting that interacted with the same subject to some degree. Basically, mental and physical health intertwined together in a way that is important to produce comprehensive health, more specifically, mental health. Um, the first article that we were looking at was a 18-year gap between life expectancy for those suffering with mental illness and those who are not. And there's another article focusing on teenage adolescent obesity and cognitive inflammation. There's another article, let's see here, talking about uh, let's see, weight loss and medication use. That's antidepressants and antipsychotics, or both of them together. There's also another study about obesity and general depression, more so about actual, not in a sense that the actual obesity itself in a physical sense that causes depression, but the psychological interpretation of one's obesity in relation to their obesity causes mental illness, depression.
Right.
And uh, let's see, what else there was here. And inflammation, yes, inflammation, chronic illness, and so on and so forth, uh, correlating with depression, causing depression, but more so obesity, generally speaking, causing low levels of inflammation, causing problems with depression. And I think to initiate this process, I think it'd be better for you to kind of explain your personal story in relation to physical health and mental health. I think would be a better place to begin.
All right. Well, I know that your diet has a lot to do with mental health. They say gut health has a lot to do with, your mental health. If you eat well, you feel well. Um, One issue that I have that I'm sure a lot of people have too is, you know, eating healthy is not cheap, unfortunately. And that's one of the biggest barricades I've come across as far as trying to improve myself and improve my diet. Because I'd much rather switch to, say, having a healthy diet as opposed to taking the cocktail of medications that I take each night. Um, truth be told, the type of food I eat is it's not the best. But like I said, I have a budget I have to stay within, and um, if I could, if they made healthier food cheaper and more readily available to people, I think that would help tremendously. Because it like the link between depression and obesity, right there. You got obesity probably because people can only afford junk food. I mean, or food that's not good for you, food that's high in carbohydrates, and I think that some people out there want to change their diet, they're not able to, and some medications unfortunately also cause you to gain weight. So I mean, there's that too. Um, but that all leads back to, if you're able to eat healthy and keep your weight down, it'll definitely relieve some of that depression. I mean, it's a given fact. I mean, like in these articles that we're reading. Um, so biggest gap, their biggest hurdle rather, is to find a diet for yourself that you can afford. And like you and I were talking about off camera, frozen vegetables, and frozen fruits and stuff like that is a good way to go for an alternative, because it's cheaper to buy frozen than it is to buy fresh. So at least you're still getting, the vitamins and nutrients that you need within those vegetables and fruits and stuff, um, which is one thing I tried doing. And it's the other part of it is it's tough to change your diet. You get used to eating a certain way, and then you got to get reacclimated and keep at it as far as trying to eat healthier. So I
Right.
think, yeah, I think that's just another hurdle that people need to get over. Because I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure there's people out there who want to change their diet and they know that it's better for them, but it's really difficult to not only afford the food, but to get yourself to change. It's kind of like a whole lifestyle change, the way you eat, you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's a major thing, but I think the time put in to changing your diet is much more beneficial for you, instead of taking a handful of pills every night before you go to bed or whatever, or taking however many pills throughout the day to regulate your mental health. I mean, if everybody could eat healthy, I'm sure it would solve a lot of issues with mental illness.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, regardless of the situation, you may have to take medication based on what condition you're dealing with.
Right, right,
Um, but uh, and so there may never be a process where you're not taking medication.
right.
But certainly living a healthier lifestyle can aid. I think there was another article that we were speaking about the other day that had nothing at all to do with the articles that we're speaking about today, but they kind of do,
Yeah,
where physical health or being active, generally speaking, it's like 4.5 hours a week. You can split up 30 minutes here, 4 times a week, and it staves off depression. I think by up to 17%, even with those who are genetically predisposed to having depression. So, just generally speaking, being active and eating better will help people who are dealing with mental health, comprehensively speaking. And to your point, it's very difficult financially just to eat healthy. I mean,
yeah.
think someone made up a joke about Whole Foods. So they call it whole check because you go in there and spend your whole check. You go in there and spend your whole check and whole.
Uh, well, I'm not going there then. Screw that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
No.
But yeah, I mean, time wise, like you said, the frozen vegetables, frozen fruits, whatever. I used to chop my own vegetables. I don't have any time to do it anymore, so I have to go and get frozen veggies. They just don't have the time anymore to go and get the vegetables and chop them up and do this and do that. And like you said, the whole lifestyle change, even if you're not having any mental health complications.
Mhm.
You mentioned the gut biome.
Yeah.
It's so huge in how it communicates with your brain
Right.
and the time it takes to transform that biome takes time, and you have to be lenient with yourself and compassionate with yourself and gradually transform how you eat. It took me some time personally to transform how I ate. It took me probably about 6 to 9 months to really change everything to a point where I felt I have had complete control over what I was eating.
Right.
And in an emotional capacity, when you're dealing with mental health, or just generally speaking, sometimes people find solace and find, you know, uh, um, comfort in food, and so it's hard to break away from those habits too, aside from your general diet.
Right.
But I think it is crucial. A lot of studies coming out talking about how crucial and how beneficial physical health can be, comprehensively speaking, being active and eating, healthy, uh, can do to stave off mental health and to, prop you up into a place that have a higher, floor in terms of how you're dealing with things, generally speaking. Uh,
Right. I agree.
yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate, just generally speaking. If you're not having mental health issues on a day-to-day basis, me personally, I've been dealing with a very bad sprained ankle since July, and I've noticed its effect on my general day-to-day life and how I'm handling things, where I have to compensate with my self-care.
Yeah.
I've had to lean more on people socially because what I would get from doing chin-ups, push-ups, and going for a jog, or doing this and doing that, um, or doing quick sprints.
Mhm.
I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I have to get healthy and get back to that place to where I can reincorporate that into my day-to-day life. So
Right. Right.
I was wondering, because I know we spoke about when you're going to the gym more consistently, the compare contrast between what life was like then for you then, and then when you weren't going to the gym and how you felt, uh, comparatively between the two situations.
Um, I will say this about the gym. I was never a fan of going to the gym just because a lot of people, social anxiety, that kind of thing. So when I would go to the gym, I would go at like 11 o'clock at night or like midnight or something like that to work out. Um, but I did notice that when I went, um, I felt better afterwards. I had to force myself. I really, really had to force myself to get the motivation to just get in the gym, even if I just did like a half an hour of cardio, you know. And I never used to do cardio, but I also know that, you know, there's the relationship between nutrition and working out. And if you can work your, you know what, off in the gym, and if you don't eat properly, you're not going to see the results. So there's that correlation right there too. But so I figured I would just start off, because I have horrible endurance and, you know, whatnot. Um, and I wanted to get in better shape, that I would do cardio just to kind of slowly get my feet back in the water as far as going to the gym and being around people. I felt that when I did either the treadmill or the exercise bike, I felt when I left the gym, I felt very accomplished and proud of myself. So I think that, you know, that speaks volumes about what exercise can do with mental health, especially like depression and whatnot. You know, it makes you feel like you've accomplished something. You're productive. You're bettering yourself. You know,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, I used to go and lift weights. Like I used to work out like crazy when I was younger. I wish I never stopped. I was in really good shape. Um, and I was wondered, you know, if that had any correlation between my mental health when I was younger. Um, but that is one of my goals, is to get back into the gym and, you know, force myself to go there. Even if like I said, I do cardio for a half an hour or something like that, it can really boost your, what do you call it, the endorphins, and make you feel a lot better about yourself. You know, especially like it's like a little mountain you got to climb to force yourself to get there. You know, you got to convince yourself that it's good for you and you're going to feel good afterwards, and you're doing something beneficial for your health. And I think even going to the gym, like maybe even like 2 3 days a week instead of remaining sedentary, you definitely benefit from going to the gym at least a couple days a week. You don't have to go all out and go like 6 7 days a week, you know. um, but I think that exercise is paramount with mental illness.
Absolutely. Well, what I took away from that is that, it doesn't have to be the gym. It could be outside. It could be anywhere. Do it in
Yeah.
the privacy of your own home if you have the ability to do so.
Right.
And we're on our own plans. Might be doing it 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whatever you can do. And be kind to yourself. Be lenient to yourself. Have reasonable expectations. Things take time.
Hmm.
And just because you go to the gym doesn't mean it's going to translate right away to how you feel, how you look, because number one, that's number two. How you eat plays a big factor.
Yep.
So, you know, uh, all these things kind of work together, and it's going to be something that takes time. But I think I think this was a great piece to talk about, a great topic to talk about, and
I
I
agree.
feel like we could talk so much more about this in particular because it's such a big topic. But
Right.
uh, time and people having busy lives, I think we should kind of wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I thought it was great. It was a great vlog again. I'm enjoying this more and more, being back and having these substantive conversations. And so I'm
Likewise.
enthusiastic about you know doing it again. So um, yeah.
Me too, man. It was definitely a good conversation. I think we made some valid points.
All right. Well, until next time, thank you for joining us, and see you in the next video.